Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar on streamlining state and local business processes with Nintex. I'm Eric Eklund, an account manager here with Think IT. And today with me I also have Terry Simpson from Nintex, who will be conducting the demo around the Nintex product set. Let me tell you a little bit about Think IT. We're a Gold Microsoft partner and certified Nintex partner. We've been providing business solutions for over 30 years, both in the commercial and government agencies, specialize in strategic management and IT consulting, business apps and business intelligence and managed services. We're now also a subsidiary of Cherry Bekaert. Cherry is one of the 25 largest CPA and consulting firms in the country, operates primarily here on the Southeast. Cherry Bekaert provides practical financial consulting to many state and local agencies. Think IT and Nintex have formed a strong partnership over the last several years. Nintex is a workflow and forms automation solution. We're fortunate within Think IT to have a Nintex VTE, that's a virtual technology evangelist on staff, Andrea O'Hara. Basically this means that Andrea is a top Nintex solution consultant, which is the highest endorsement from Nintex. We see a great opportunity with this product set for state and local agencies to do more with less, with automated processes with Nintex. Terry Simpson, who's with us today from Nintex, is our guest speaker, and he'll demonstrate how a county did this with their property tax refund process, greatly benefiting the county's employees and the public as well. Let me briefly tell you a little bit about Terry. He's worked with Nintex and SharePoint for many years, and he's helped users leverage technology to drive business value. So without much further ado, I'll turn it over to Terry.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. I do appreciate the invitation and the introduction here to get started and show you guys a little bit about the Nintex platform, and more specifically, a little bit more around the county demonstration of the platform. So I wanted to give a real quick introduction because I know some of the folks on the webinar today may not be familiar with Nintex and where we reside as a platform. So what I thought I'd do is give a brief introduction for that, and then we'll jump right into the demonstration today. So Nintex really started around the on-premise world of SharePoint that you see over here on the left-hand side, almost 10 years ago. And really what we are is a workflow and forms solution that allows you to build out online forms and then automate processes around that. And we've really expanded the platform over the years to include a lot of good stuff. So workflow, forms, analytics to run analytics on those workflows, also our document generation capabilities, so a lot of just fun stuff out there that we allow folks to do. And everything that you're going to see today is done in a no-code type of way because we want to empower business analysts and project managers and folks that just don't have that classically trained background. They have the ability to go out and build their own forms and workflows, believe it or not, in a very easy way. So this is the on-prem SharePoint world. In the middle of the screen, you'll see Office 365. A part of that is what we call SharePoint Online. We're just simply an add-on to those SharePoint environments. So you do the installation and you're off and running, and it's just an add-on. You don't need to put anything on your local machine. But what's more exciting, and I'm going to cover today, is what we call the Nintex Workflow Cloud. It's basically the same type of engine, workflow engine and forms engine that we had in SharePoint. We just disconnected it from SharePoint. And it sits right in the middle of all your applications. We call it Workflow as a service, and it sits right there in the middle of those applications so that we can kind of automate and orchestrate all kinds of processes around the organization. And every organization has a lot of different applications, and we can reach out and touch each of those in order to automate those processes. So what I want to do is dive right into our demonstration today. Now, the Nintex Workflow Cloud, we're going to have all of our demonstration go out of that tool set today. So what you're looking at here is the start of the demonstration with a form. But before we get the actual demonstration started, we're going to use Salesforce as an example today of where we're going to communicate the data to. So you'll see here we're going to create a case today. And I'm going to go ahead and refresh the screen here, and you'll see that case number 44 was the last case that we have over there. Same thing over here on the box side. We're going to jump into the pending files area over here, and you're going to see again case number 44 was the last one. So we're going to go ahead and create case 45. But what I talked about a little earlier about being able to reach out and touch these different applications, today's example is Box as the storage mechanism for where we store the file. Salesforce is where we're going to store the actual data around the case. But in a lot of examples, we switch that up a little bit because we could have, instead of Salesforce, another CRM system. Maybe it's Microsoft Dynamics CRM, SQL database, could be ServiceNow. As far as file locations, it could be OneDrive as a really good example. So you name your database where you want to store this, and we simply become that broker of the data to take it where it needs to be. So in today's example, we're going to pretend that we're in this county called Harrington County, and we're living in that county as a citizen, and we've paid our property taxes, and maybe we paid a little bit too much a year or two ago. So we're going to come out and go to this anonymous form, and I think that's something we want to differentiate here, is that this is an anonymous form that anyone can get access to be able to fill it out. And we'll show you how we built this here in just a minute real easily. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out this form, and we've got Mr. Leroy Brown here. He happens to know what his account number here is, and we'll see how we fill that out. We're going to go in and fill out his tax refund for maybe $1,200, and maybe a particular year that we're going to have that tax refund that it's going to affect there. Now, one of the things we do in our forms tool is we allow you to have a lot of rules. So for instance, you'll see here that we may or may not want to mail the check to a different address. And if we do, let's go ahead and click on the checkbox there, and you'll see that our rules engine, we've told it, hey, if that checkbox is selected, I want to go ahead and show a few other items there. Ultimately, the county would like two pieces of information from us, one being the driver's license, and the second one being a 1098 tax form. So I think I've got a folder out here somewhere that I've got a driver's license and a 1098 form in. There we go. So I'm going to grab that 1098 form, and just like many citizens, I may make a mistake in uploading this, and I'm going to go ahead and intentionally do this and not show my driver's license. I'm just going to upload the 1098 form. I'm going to go ahead and check off that understand, sign off there. And then a new feature that we've added here recently is I want to go and put my signature on the page here. So I'm going to go ahead and sign this with my pen here as Mr. Leroy Brown. So I'm going to get my signature right there on the page, and I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. Now when I hit submit, the workflow is actually going to start as soon as I hit submit, and it's going to go and do a few things here. Now the first thing that you're going to see is it's going to send us to a redirect page, which we've put into the form, and it's going to take us back to the county website and tell us thank you for submitting this particular request. But more importantly, the workflow, we've told the workflow that we want to go out to Salesforce and create the case, and then take that asset that we attached and put it up on Box. We'll see the thank you page right here. This is our fake county that we've created. And now we can go into Salesforce, and let's see if it's had time to go ahead and create that case now. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page, and we should see there it is. Case number 45 was just created 13 minutes after the hour there, and then we come in here and we'll be able to see case number 45 as far as the assets. So we had our workflow go out and create a folder in Box, and then we can open up that individual folder and we'll see that 1098 form right there as well. So good to see that the assets have been placed in the right locations, and then we can start on to the next steps. Now as a citizen, when I filled out that form, that's going to send a notification to someone at the county that they need to start the review process. Now for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to use Mr. Leroy Brown's email address here to do all the email notifications, but you'll see this email came from manager review. So back at the county, the manager is going to get this email, and it's going to have the 1098 form attached to it, and you'll see in here the case number that we've assigned to it, case number 45. So what's nice about this is the manager can now go out and review the case that was submitted. Now, Nintex workflow has a concept called task forms, meaning the task was assigned to the manager, and this is what the manager is going to get. And it's going to show the tax number, the case number. All these four fields at the top are grayed out because they're read-only fields. So the manager is going to come in, and he's actually going to reject this one, because in this instance, we were missing the driver's license for this. So I'm going to go ahead and say missing driver's license, click reject, and hit submit. So the manager is now going to kick this back. The workflow already knows when it is rejected, it goes back to the citizen for the citizen to add the additional information that they had left out. So really, really nice. And keep in mind that citizen's still that anonymous user that we're interacting with. Now here is the email that comes back to the citizen. And I'm still using the same email address, but it's coming from the missing details address for case number 45. So now the citizen is going to come out here and get another task form with an additional grayed out field for the comments here, missing driver's license. So obviously they could come and withdraw their submission. But in this scenario, the citizen is going to say, oh, I forgot to put my driver's license on there. Let's resubmit this. So let's go out and grab that driver's license real quick, and I'll go ahead and hit upload. Now keep in mind that I could also do this on my mobile device. The form here is also responsive, so it works really well on your phone. So that way, if I needed to just get my driver's license out of my wallet, take a picture of it with my phone, we could still do that and interact with the citizen in this way. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice that's a little bit different with the redirect page here, we're not going to take them back to that thank you page. We're actually going to take the user to a Power BI dashboard. And using the Nintex Hawkeye Analytics tool, we've created a dashboard that's going to give some information to the citizen on the tax refund process at the county. So the citizen can come out and see how many refunds have been going on for each of the tax years here, how long it's been taking for those refunds. Now, obviously, I'm in a demonstration environment here, so we're approving tax refunds at a phenomenal rate of 59 or 49 minutes here, so your average county really isn't going to be that efficient. But we also see how many refunds are pending, the average refund, so just some fun information here showing you with our analytics tool. And what's nice about this is normally you'd keep most of these analytics internal, but based upon your process that you're running, the analytics tool will allow you to have dashboards to see that content, or at least analytics on that content. So it's not just about making it really easy to build workflow and forms. We also want to give you data around those to help improve your processes as well. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is now that we have gotten all the assets, we've got all the missing information, we've got the 1098 form, we've got the tax form, we should have all the information to now send this case over to an individual who's then going to process this completely. And that's really the goal of what this process is getting a full completed case. Because for the decision maker back at the county that's actually going to make the decision, we want to make sure that everything's ready so that when they go to review the case, they don't need any additional information. So what we've done is we've sent an email back to the citizen to say, hey, we've assembled a PDF using the Nintex document generation tool. It takes all the assets, and we've created that PDF automatically. The workflow has done it for us. And we want the citizen to review this and then finally approve it. So I'm going to open up that PDF, and that PDF here is going to contain all the assets that we started with. Now keep in mind, this template that you're looking at right here started out as a Word document. We just simply have the references in there. So we'll scroll down the screen a little bit. You'll see all the case number. You'll see all the form data right here. We'll keep coming down the page a little bit more, and we'll see the signature that we had on the form. We put that right into the PDF. The third page of the PDF has the driver's license. So we'll see the driver's license right there, along with the 1098 form for this particular tax person. All the assets are right there in that one PDF document. The citizen can now use a fun feature that Nintex offers called lazy approval, where we can just hit the reply button, and the citizen can type in the word approve, and we'll see that mentioned down here at the bottom of the two outcomes, withdrawal or approve. And this is just another mechanism. We could have sent them a task form, but I just wanted to show you another way to interact with this. So we'll go ahead and type in the word approve, hit send, and it'll process the workflow right on to the next step. So the citizen is now agreeing that that PDF document looks accurate and correct. They've approved it, and then we move on, and then the tax refund will then be processed by the county, and hopefully that citizen will get their check pretty quickly. So that's kind of the end of the end user experience as far as that demonstration is concerned. Nintex automated that whole process with very few interactions from the citizen and the county. So really cool to have the ability to create all of that. All the assets will be in here. So if I come back in here and look at that box account, you'll see all three assets now, the driver's license and the tax claim refund right there. So really nice to see all that. And then I'll also go ahead and show you the template real quick where that PDF started. So this is a Word document that's out here. And if I open up that Word document, you'll actually see all the references that are in here. So you see case number, tax number, property address. Really neat to see all the references in there. And I'll show you here in just a second in the workflow how we get these references in there. Because you, as the individual building the workflow, you don't have to know how to type in, you know, these brackets and the underscore and the name. You don't have to know any of that. We do all that for you. And I'll show you that here in just a second. So that's the end from the end user's perspective. I want to take you behind the scenes just real quick, and we'll show you how we built this individual workflow. So everything I'm going to show you here for maybe the next 2 or 3 minutes is all the administrative view of this particular workflow. So out here in our tool, you'll see the number of workflows you have, the instances, the tasks, the connections area, which is basically the credentials that you're using to access all your internal systems. And then in a minute, you're going to see a whole bunch of connectors of things that we can connect to. And in the event that you don't see your system on the left-hand side of the page in the actions, you can use our extensions framework to bring in your own extensions and connect to your own systems internally. But I'm going to go ahead and open up this Harrington County demo that we built. I think we probably built this demo out probably less than a day as far as getting this thing built. So it's really, really easy to build and implement. So you'll see the Nintex Workflow Designer canvas. This may be the first time that many of you have seen the canvas, and I'll show you real quickly how it works. You basically have all these actions on the left-hand side. You'll see the different sections like Salesforce or Dynamics CRM or SharePoint Online if you want to do that. And it's a drag and drop interface. So if you want to assign a task to someone, just grab that, drag it over on the right-hand side of the screen, drop it wherever you'd like it to be, and then you'll click on that action and start to configure it. So if I want that to be an approval action, you'll see the outcomes are reject, approve. You know, maybe we put something like revise in there. So whatever you want those to be, you'll just do that, and you'll see the outcomes right here in the interface. So super, super easy to be able to build out a workflow. And I'll walk through this workflow real quick and just highlight a couple things, and then we'll end the demonstration here. But I'll show you at the top, the start event for this particular workflow happens to be a form. It doesn't have to be a form. It could be a scheduled start that you run every day, or could be an event in CRM somewhere that you have. This is our form builder tool. Super, super easy to build out a form. So you'll see all the text that we put at the top with the header and the logo. You know, if we wanted to bring another field in, we could bring the email address, put it right there in the middle. If you want to configure it, again, just click on it and start configuring each of those areas. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one real quick. So super, super easy to be able to build this form. We even make it easy to put tabs up here. So if you have multiple pages, you may want to put page 1, page 2, page 3, make them horizontal. Now all of a sudden I have different tabs and pages on your form. So everything we do is done in this no-code type of way, and we want to keep it that easy. We even have a nice little rules engine in here. So that little show mail address, how we configure that's right here. You'll see we'll give that rule a name. If a condition, meaning that particular field, is equal to yes, meaning the little check box is there, then we're going to change the visibility of that field and make it visible. So we'll choose yes. So you can have all kinds of forms or rules on your form in order to make it very dynamic for that end user. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to walk you through a couple of the actions over here. So in our example, when we filled out that form, we communicated some information to our analytics tool, and then we went over to Salesforce and created that record. And this is really what I like to show off in the tool, because if you think about taking a tool like Nintex and integrating it with another system, that sounds complicated, but it's super easy in our platform. We can choose the connection right here, which is just a username and password. Choose the object in Salesforce that you want to update. Could be an account, an announcement. We've chosen case in this scenario. And then we just simply add the fields for that case that we want to update. So if we wanted to have the case reason as another field, maybe the company name, maybe the email address, whatever that is, you just click on the add button, and those fields are going to show up right down here at the bottom. You'll see here that that case type, it actually loads those fields from Salesforce. So I could choose and say it's an electrical issue, whatever it is. And we have these little references in here. So when I filled out the form, you click on the little variable, and we could grab any information off of that form, and that's how you tell it which field to update in that system right there. So really easy to go out and create that record. You'll see down here in Box, we go and create that folder. We tell it right where to create it, and then we come out and we actually store the file in that location. So we're super simple to be able to come out and configure this tool and get it to match up. And I'll show you down here all the different things that we have in what's called a statement machine, which is in the logic and flow section here. You can grab that branch by state and drag it over, and you'll see all the different sections over here. So when we go out, we'll assign a task. That task would be assigned. The citizen could have withdrawn the request or resubmitted it if there's additional information that was needed. If there wasn't additional information that was needed, we could have gone ahead and just went to the final review and generated that document. That document generation piece is right here. And this is where we can go out and connect to that external system and grab that template from Box, which is that Word document, and then we just tell this thing to output it as a PDF document, where to store it. Super easy to be able to do that. So really nice to have all that ability in there. If you didn't want to put the signature on the page like we did, you could even leverage something like DocuSign if you wanted to, and modify this process so that you could use DocuSign to get the signature on the page. We could drag that over and configure this action to be able to send it out to the user via DocuSign if you happen to use that as a tool set. So again, that's kind of the workflow designer interface. You'll see a lot of actions that are over here that you'll be familiar with. And in the event that you don't see an action over here that you'd like to use, again, you could use that extensions framework to be able to build that out. I always like to show SAP over here as an example because we didn't build any connectors to SAP, but using the extensions framework, you have the ability to do that. Now, the last thing I'll show you over here, because many of you might have some questions on this, I'll show you helpful resources here. If you go out to help.nintex.com, you'll see all of our product documentation. So any of the extensions framework or anything else that you want to see out here, you can visit via that website, see all the documentation, product documentation, and all of our SDKs. This thing I'll show you real quick is you can also visit our Learn website if you want to be able to go out and get some training on Nintex here. I would encourage you to come look at this site, but I'd also encourage you to come out and give Think IT a call, because they can go out and give you some real personal kind of white glove attention when it comes to training as well, because they've got a lot of good stuff and a lot of good resources for them. And Andrea, who Eric mentioned there at the beginning, is a great resource on the Think IT side to be able to do that. So I'll go ahead and log into this particular site here to be able to show you the Learn site. Actually, I'm putting in my own email address here at nintex.com. Sometimes it's hard to speak and type at the very same time. So we'll get logged in there. This is actually a free login for you if you ever want to see anything on the Learn site, and a lot of videos that you can go out and you can even get Nintex certifications on this particular site. So really cool to see beginner, advanced, and intermediate levels along with the different environments that we have over here on the left-hand side. So check out learn.nintex.com. And then the last thing I'll do is show you the community site as well. And this is a little bit more of a teach a man to fish approach, but you can come out and search for all kinds of really good stuff in the search box here in order to build out a workflow and manage it. So hopefully this has been really good information for you today around the Nintex platform. It's all no-code solution so that anybody that's watching this webinar has the ability to go out and build and manage workflow and automate processes in your organization. So I think at this point I'll turn it over to the Think IT folks to close us out.
Thanks, Terry. That was a great demo, great value add, I think, across the workflow and business processes that you can automate in the state and local space. Give you a little more info on the Nintex side of things. There is a free trial available out on the Nintex site. If you want to download that, we can assist you with that process. We also offer a couple different things. I can provide you additional licensing information on this enterprise tool. We offer some Nintex Jumpstart packages, which really helps you from a proof of concept standpoint. We can tailor it to your particular needs and environment, all in the state and local space. All are a little bit different from city and county and agency side of things. What that package includes is really services from Think IT, training, and anything to help you guys get started and really launch the Nintex platform in your environment. So we'll optimize really any of your business processes. Again, we really appreciate you joining the conversation today. If you need additional info, my email address is there from the Think IT side. We'll provide you Terry's contact info as well, and we work closely with that particular demo and Terry on any engagements that we work with throughout the state and local space. Again, thanks for your time, and we appreciate you joining the webinar today.